Speaking of antipathy, here. Okay, so here's a phrase.
Tipathy. I remember going to my Aunt Tipathy's house for rhubarb pie and mac and cheese aronies. Aunt Tipathy.
Spencer's been very depressed lately. I asked him if it was okay to share that with people, and he said, "Yeah." That was several weeks ago. I haven't checked in with him about that since. I'm like giving him his space, and he's like, I mean, I see him all the time, but I'm just if somebody doesn't want to, I figure give him space. And
is that what you've been doing?
Oh, to you? No, you're here. You reminded me. You interrupting with the antipathy wordplay reminded me that Spencer wasn't here, and that made me think about the fact that I actually hadn't shared something that I did ask Spencer at one point. Would you mind if I shared that with the audience? He's like, yeah, I don't care, because I did think it was interesting, and I was in a real shit mood, and it was, it's hard to say these days if it's connected to anything extrinsically causal. Like the world is so wackadoodle from my perspective at this point. Like, how would you know if it was because it was raining or because of something you saw on the internet or but you ever have one of those funks that's so deep that you're kind of like, this has got to be biochemical. This can't even be. I've never been this depressed about anything real in my life. Like, this has got to just be a real thing. And it almost like makes it a little easier to deal with intellectually, because you're like, oh, this is just blue crayon in my butt. Don't Google it, but it's a real expression. And then like midway into that, I was like not sharing it with people. That's the thing. Because it was like, oh, this too shall pass. You complain enough. Like what? Who are you gonna tell that? I think even saying this is going to be uncharismatic. But it's like I was having this conversation with a colleague where I said, like, they were talking about being depressed, and I was like, you are having a lot of good fortune right now, and there is an effect that I've noticed where that lasso of like when you're allowed to complain like kind of tightens in your own mind. You guys are thinking, well, nothing's stopping you. That lasso's not tight. But that's because I think I have this. I feel like I have a little license to like kvetch because I'm talking to people who would never judge me. But anyways, I got way too high. I'm sorry. That's my fourth tangent. Spencer was. I came to work in this funk, and I got out of my car, and I got in the elevator, and Spencer happened to be getting in the elevator at the same time, and he hadn't done the show for I think one. He had taken 1 week off at that point, and I said good morning. Good morning. He said, hey, sorry, I didn't do the show. And I was like, yeah, well, is everything okay? He's like, nah, I'm really depressed. And my mood, I was like so excited. It was like it was like when you see somebody wearing the same shirt, or like, or somebody mentions the same Netflix show that you were like coming into work ready to talk about. And like it was so instantly measurable how happy it made me to hear someone else say, I've been depressed. And I don't know why. And I think that that's both, look, I know it was also funny. It was like, God, that's so ridiculous and almost cruel, that it makes you feel better. You hear that misery loves company and stuff. And it's like, I never bothered to ask Spencer, is it also making you feel better? Yeah. Or is it just, I was afraid to ask. You ever take remember in swim class when the teacher says like, don't go near a person that's drowning. They won't know what they're doing, and they might grab your head and hold it under them like with their kind of reptile part of their brain. If they're scared, they're drowning. So you have to have these techniques. Like that's what I was doing. I was like Spencer saying he had been depressed. Like I just grabbed it and pushed myself up with it. It was like, that makes me feel so much better.
But there is this thing. You've witnessed somebody be brave. you're able to be brave, and there's this great honesty. You get a little kick from that. We all do. It's why we sort of reach out to people. So there is this moment like when you peel, I know this is nerdy, but when you open a Band-Aid in the dark and you see that little spark when you peel the paper
I love
back.
that.
Right.
That's not nerdy.
Okay.
That's magic.
Right. So this is the same thing.
It is magic, right?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing in Carlsbad Caverns where there's no light.
Yes.
And then you open a Band-Aid and you it's one little thing, and it doesn't mean you're going to live longer. It doesn't mean anything, but it's like it's
doesn't mean the wound went away.
That's like, the opposite of you got to pull that Band-Aid off is usually
you got to open that Band-Aid package.
You got to open that Band-Aid package
and a 1, 2,
Okay, so
cabbage?
antipathy reminded me of a thing, and
time?
then you did that. That reminded me of Spencer. Spencer reminded me. So I would say, I want to say also, I don't think I have the word power right now. I'm on a deadline. I'm kind of like clumsy and fumbling, but I did imagine sharing it with you that Spencer's been bummed out, and I know that Spencer's not going to enjoy anybody saying to him it's tough with him. He's such a smart guy. I feel like it's important to share that he's been in a funk. Even though I'm sure he would, if he had a button, he'd go, well, no, then don't mention it, because I don't think he's going to get joy out of like a flood of digital get wells, I
do. And even if we don't, well, let's see what happens.
Well, sometimes that's how I felt about wishing him a happy birthday. Was I was like, he probably hates having a happy birthday said to him, but this isn't for him.
When did he tell you he was a miserable motherfucker who hated good shit?
No, he didn't tell me.
Because he's a pretty love and light kind of guy, as far as I've seen, and gets sort of that you get what you give, and that.
I don't mean to make him sound like a curmudgeon. I think he would
love a little love.
No, he's just very. He doesn't like.
He's shy.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to say social anxieties, because the term. I mean, is it an anxiety if you don't want to be in a crowd of fucking warbling strangers? It's like when people used to say I had a Christ complex. How do you know I'm not actually Christ?
It's true.
Those shoes.
Yeah.
Did you ever, this is a kind of a tangential thing, but did you ever go to like Milwaukee Days? Do you guys have any of those festivals?
Summerfest.
Summerfest. Were you that kind of person who could do those?
I mean, yeah.
We were back in the comedy tent. I mean, we would traverse the crowds, but we wouldn't stay there very long. We would spend the rest of the day or the night in the comedy tent.
I don't think I would have gone to Summerfest very often if we didn't have that that little feeling of like you're going there to work and there's a keg in a
there's like this hidden area full of all the people that you see every day, plus the occasional Bobcat Goldthwait or Tom Kenny are going to show up, and you can hang out with them.
Yeah.
So Comic-Con is the same. When you guys are Comic-Con, you don't really walk the floor.
Can't do the exhibit floor anymore, except
it's,
maybe like Sunday before they after they close and everyone. It's like it's really that's pretty crazy. I think everyone would agree, but I think some people are maybe just more able to handle something that they know is egregious, which is like absolute zero control over your personal space and where and when you walk and don't walk. Like that seems criminal. The exhibit floor at Comic-Con. Anyways, all right. So